Here's more wrestling news for April 11th, 2022. And your headlines for this afternoon include: Tony Khan expects bidding wars over top AEW stars. Tony Khan can't understand what WWE was thinking after releasing Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland. Scorpio Sky mocks AEW with claims they edited out boos on Rampage. I was getting down a dark path. William Regal on getting suspended by WWE. Unexpected incident: Shad Gaspard's WWE Hall of Fame induction. Chris Jericho bans fan from watching AEW Rampage. Wrestler hospitalized with potential spinal injury after botched move during wrestling show. Buff Bagwell on Sonny's arrest. It could have easily been me. The Miz addresses if retirement from WWE is on the horizon. The Miz and Nia Jax put on quite a performance as they walked the aisle at Alexa Bliss and Ryan Cabrera's wedding. Ryback threatens to visit Twitter headquarters over censoring him, and more. We're kicking off today with Tony Khan, who has signed plenty of former WWE superstars to AEW over the years, including Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland. Both men enjoyed impressive runs in NXT, but had trouble on WWE's main roster, as Lee went for months without being used due to a series of medical issues, while Strickland, along with the rest of Hit Row, were cut mere weeks after their call-up. Now both men are with AEW, and in an interview with Brandon Walker of Wrastlin', Khan said he was perplexed that any company would let either man go. I don't know what the hell you're thinking if you run a wrestling company you don't have a spot for Swerve Strickland and Keith Lee. I get that there are only so many positions in a company, but I think any company that has those guys, and, it wasn't like they're unreasonable guys, they're great. I love both guys. They've been a huge part of what we're doing here now, too. At this time, Lee and Strickland are working together in a feud with Team Taz, and though it may not be what fans had in mind for either man at first, it's far more than either man were doing on WWE's main roster before the release. Tony Khan has always insisted that his product is much different to WWE, but it seems he can't help but borrow some tricks used by McMahon. Recently, Sammy Guevara and Ty Conti dropped a super steamy photo to prove they used the TNT Championship in the bedroom, but that has caused some backlash for the couple. During last week's Rampage tapings, the couple were heavily booed by the crowd, but when the episode aired, those boos had been edited out, as have chants of "shut the fuck up," which were hurled at the real-life couple. Reigning TNT champion Scorpio Sky addressed this on Twitter with an edited picture of Ty Conti holding a sign reading, "We paid to have our boos dubbed over." It's no secret that WWE have sweetened the crowds in the past, but fans did not expect Khan to do the same. After claiming that fans criticizing AEW online are bots or paid trolls, dubbing over critical live fans is a bold move for Tony Khan and not what you'd expect from the promoter who's consistently claimed that his company is fan-centric. William Regal joined AEW earlier this year after over 21 years working for WWE, which saw the British legend have plenty of ups and downs. In his first stint with WWE, Regal's substance abuse problems led to him entering rehab, which WWE provided and paid for, but he would have some relapses in the years after. In 2008, the then Raw general manager was suspended for his second violation of the company's wellness policy, but in an interview with AEW Unleashed, Regal said how this worked out for the best. I was getting down a very dark path, so that's a very memorable one, because I did get suspended, but I also think it was a good thing, because I didn't want to go back to a dark place that I was going through. I had some health issues anyway at the time, but I didn't want to go to a place that I'd been to in the 90s that would have probably lost me my family. I really got into that. Regal went on to say that for his role as Raw general manager, he'd been researching dictators throughout history, which had also taken a toll on his mental health, though he didn't recognize it at the time. After his release in January, Regal made it clear that he would not be saying a single bad word against WWE, who he has credited for saving his life by forcing him into rehab, and now the British star has started the next chapter of his life, now in AEW. On April 1st, WWE held its annual Hall of Fame ceremony, which, like all years, proved to be an emotional night. For Araya and Ciliana Gaspard, the night was extra special as they received the Warrior Award on behalf of Shad Gaspard, who heroically gave his life to save his son in 2020. Shad's crime time partner JTG was also at the ceremony and recreated his entrance with Araya, but speaking to Black Announce Table podcast, JTG said that wasn't the original plan. We were just chilling, and then the show started, and I didn't hear anything back from anybody. Usually the WWE likes to rehearse things beforehand, and we haven't heard it, so I'm like, You're not gonna do it because this is live TV. They don't want any mistakes or accidents. But right before Shad's vignette came on, I got a tap on the shoulder and they gave me the green light. So it was a last-minute decision, and I'm genuinely thankful that they gave me that opportunity. Shad Gaspard will always be remembered for his wrestling career and heroic final acts, and it was great to see JTG get this last moment on a WWE production in celebration of a true hero. More from AEW as Chris Jericho has once again reinvented himself, but in an ironic twist, this reinvention has seen Jericho go back to his WWE roots. Referring to his new Jericho Appreciation Society as sports entertainers, Jericho is all in on this latest heel turn, but that's not all he's been doing. When not in the ring, Jericho has been doing color commentary on AEW Rampage, and when one fan felt the need to rant to Jericho about his performance, saying they were going to boycott the show, the former world champion told him not to worry, as he's banned from Rampage. The fans' brush with Jericho got over 1,300 likes, and many fans complimented Y2J on his work in the mic. The first ever AEW World Champion, it's a bold move for Jericho to focus on WWE's label for wrestlers, but at least he won't have to worry about the fan anymore now that he's been banned. We've got some rare news coming from Japan's Pro Wrestling 01 promotion, as tragedy has struck the company. Yesterday, wrestler/company president Shinjiro Otani competed at their event in Tokyo, Japan, and suffered a severe cervical spinal injury. Fans were urged to leave the arena as Otani was stretchered out, and the injury occurred when he took a German suplex to the turnbuckle. While Otani was able to speak with the referee and medical professionals, he's been unable to move his limbs, and many fear he's facing paralysis. Otani is best known for his work in 01 and New Japan before then, but he was also the very first WCW World Cruiserweight Champion, which would come to WWE in 2001. This June will mark 3 decades of Otani's career in professional wrestling, and we're sending our best to him and hoping for a full and complete recovery. Last week, news broke of a fatal car accident that involved Tammy Sytch, who allegedly hit a vehicle that went on to hit another vehicle. A toxology report will determine if the former Sunny had been drinking at the time, which could lead to a criminal charge of manslaughter against her, and now another troubled wrestling star has weighed in. It's well known that Buff Bagwell has also had his share of problems, but is now seeking help from Diamond Dallas Page. In a tweet, Bagwell discussed this latest sad chapter in Sytch's life, saying he hopes she gets the help she desperately needs, and it could easily have been him in the car in her place. Unlike Sunny, Bagwell has acknowledged the dangers of driving with these problems and realizes that had he not gone to DDP for help, then he could have ended up killing someone on the road. It remains to be seen what'll happen with Sytch, but we can only hope that she and Buff both get the help they need to turn their lives around. Back to the ring, and The Miz is a true veteran of WWE, in addition to being the only 2-time Grand Slam champion in the promotion's history. A former Mr. Money in the Bank and WrestleMania headliner, the A-lister has done it all, but isn't looking to hang up his boots. Ahead of his big match with Cody Rhodes tonight, The Miz stopped by the Detroit News and said that while his role has focused to working with younger stars and celebrities, he doesn't have plans to retire. "Not yet," he noted. "My goal whenever a celebrity comes in is not to have them just sit on the sidelines and watch me work. What the fans paid to see is Logan Paul going to be able to do this? And I want to be able to give the fans that answer, whether it's positive or negative. So I'm going to push whichever celebrity is out there to be their absolute best, and it only works if they have the heart, the dedication, the will, and the athletic ability to do it." At 41 years old, The Miz is one of WWE's older superstars to be wrestling on a weekly basis, but with Randy Orton, who's 42, saying he plans on wrestling for another 10 years, it appears The Miz will also have many more years in the ring. The Miz has a huge match tonight, but last weekend took some time out to enjoy the wedding of Alexa Bliss and Ryan Cabrera. Given that it was The Miz who introduced the couple, this was an important day for the A-lister, who made a dramatic entrance during the ceremony. Walking the aisle with former WWE superstar Nia Jax, the duo both struck some poses much to the delight of the guest list and had strong The Office vibes for sure. Even when not on screen, The Miz remains dedicated to his character, and while Jax has seemingly left wrestling behind, the former Raw Women's Champion had one last chance to entertain at the Bliss-Cabrera wedding. And we're ending with Ryback, who for years has claimed that WWE and Twitter are illegally suppressing his account, but has never provided proof behind that claim. Now the big guy is at it once again, as he's now issued a warning to the CEO of Twitter. In a tweet, which Ryback will no doubt say is being suppressed, the former WWE star claimed to have blocked 12,000 accounts, saying it puts into perspective how toxic a portion of the wrestling fanbase is. Tagging Twitter CEO Parag Agrawal, Ryback said he needs to have his account fixed and threatened to visit Twitter HQ if this problem isn't solved. Ryback didn't exactly explain how his account isn't fixed, as he's been given the free reign to block people, so it may be difficult to fix his account if there's nothing wrong with it. Recently, Ryback once again asked fans what he should do next in his wrestling career, and once again, the vast majority of fans told him to retire. But don't expect the big guy to take this suggestion until his account is quote-unquote fixed. Well guys, that's our news for today. Please share your comments below. Also hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon to receive all notifications. And as always, thanks for watching.